podcast you're about to hear is a reading of a This I Believe essay by Lauren Kean. Lauren is a senior at Ball State University. While studying secondary theater and English education, she has kept an eye on literacy and the power of the written and spoken word.
I believe in de-romanticizing reading. This past weekend, I was nonchalantly searching through Facebook profiles. I came across one girl's profile picture, and I immediately felt my jaw clench and my brows furrow. In the picture, she was only a silhouette sitting at a window seat, sitting rigidly and reading. My immediate reaction was, "That's not how people read," which was very quickly followed by the thought that she wasn't really reading at all, but rather using the book as a prop to make herself appear literate. But I was onto something. This was not reading, but rather an aesthetic. In my experience, I have often seen students come into academia and feel the need to prove their literacy, as if it will make them a cut above the rest. Truthfully, I do connect more with someone who will passionately discuss novels with me, but their literacy does not make them any better than the student next to them who struggles with reading assignments every night. Our education system tells us that it teaches reading when students are in elementary school, and after that point, they are able to read. But hooked on phonics will only get you so far. There is much more to reading. What about subtext? What about character intention? What about readers who can visually read words on a page, but not comprehend their weight? I believe that I fall somewhere in between on the literacy spectrum. I can remember reading Angels in America in a contemporary American literature class. As we started reading it, I found myself loving sitting in the front row. But somewhere along the way, my understanding got off track, and suddenly sitting in the front row made me feel guilty and ashamed. I was a theater and English major, and we were reading one of the greatest plays of the century. I thought, well, if I'm not getting this, what does it say about my abilities as an English teacher and a theater artist? Sitting in that front row, I felt my body melting into a puddle because surely my professor couldn't ask a puddle about why Ethel Rosenberg was mocking Roy Cohn in his hospital bed. Despite my melted state, I still felt like all eyes were on me. This sort of pressure that I just had to get it. But I didn't. My heart was pounding, and my lungs slowly collapsed, and I would just have to wait in this panic until the 50 minutes of terror ended, and I unpuddled myself enough to leave the room. Sometimes I still experience this uninhibited trepidation, but because of my studies I am able to teach myself. But many students are not provided this literary toolkit. Romanticizing reading falsifies the experience of reading. The romanticizers distance the act of reading from those who struggle with it, but they are also cheapening their experience as well. By not acknowledging their effort and the work they have accomplished in reading, they are distancing themselves from the act of reading as well. It may feel autonomous to them by now, but being literate, let alone being a good reader too, is nothing to take for granted. Reading is no simple task, and treating it as such is harmful for both struggling readers and accomplished readers. Using a book as a prop is easy. Reading a book is difficult. Demonstrating an aesthetic is easy. Demonstrating reading is not. Let's acknowledge our work and congratulate ourselves. By reading, we are doing much more than we even know.